Trolls, you may have experienced these, but why do we give them so much power? Stay tuned and find out, and what you can do. Hi, this is G.H. Glade, and trolls, goodness, they walk among us. If you have any exposure to the general public, or your work has any exposure to the general public, you have a liability for a troll. So what is a troll? A troll is somebody who gives feedback that is not aimed toward growth, is generally hostile, and sometimes really absurd. We can have 99 positive reviews of our work. They can be outstanding. And we get that one that's negative. And it may be so far-fetched, it's ridiculous. But that is the one that kind of sticks in our brain and we spend more time thinking about and we just can't let go of. I want to talk about one of my favorite trolls because it's so absurd, and this lends itself to a way of coping with them. I have this troll that we'll call Rainy Days because that's their tagline. And they were a client who came in the days where I was actually seeing people in the office. Oh, those past days. And this person said in their post that I actually grimaced taking cash. Well, yeah, that is so far-fetched because yes, I do enjoy paying 2.5% more to take a card. Sometimes you have to laugh at the absurdity of such things. But nevertheless, I spent way more time on that thinking about than I should have. And why is that? Well, we have this thing called negativity bias. And the negative, frankly, has a far greater influence on us than the positive. It can affect your behavior. Yeah, I spent more time than I should have on Rainy Days trolling comment. It can affect your decision because decisions are not based on logic. They're based on emotion, and they can even affect your relationships. And this explains why that first impression is so powerful and so hard to overcome, because it sets us up for this view of the person that is really hard to shake. That negativity bias has a lingering effect on your sense of who that person is. The very first impression or the very last impression will have you ignore all the positives in between. Let's say you have a date and the date goes fantastically well. That other person is charming, engaging, and you're hitting lots of commonalities. And then the goodbye was, shall we say, unfortunate. For whatever reason, it kind of turned you off, and that instilled a negativity bias. And did you call that person back or accept calls from them? Nah, probably not. That's the power of that negativity bias. We are wired to notice the negative things and remember them more vividly. We recall traumatic events much more than the positive one. We recall insults far more readily than praise. And we think about the negative things much more frequently than the positive. And we may be wired to decline the positive. And we will make decisions based on negative information far more than we do on positive information. But so what we can do, as I said before, one of the first things you can do is look at the sheer absurdity of the comments, but also realize that these are people that, for better or worse, you're getting a little bitty window on aspects of their life. These are not people who go through life with joy and gratitude. They go through with anger, and it plays out in terms of how it spills over to others. You know, let's recall that a troll doesn't give anything positive. Speaking of positive, if you find this video helpful and positive, go ahead and thump that like button. And most of all, I'd like you to share. What to do? Well, let's take the office troll. Yes, they inhabit most big offices, and they're the one who always makes this sort of offhanded negative comment. It may seem like a positive, but when you think about it, yeah, now there's definitely shards of glass in that comment. One of the things you can do is kill them with kindness. And oftentimes this is what brings them around. That aspect of killing them with kindness takes into account that oftentimes Their veiled hostility is a defense measure. It pushes people away. They may have various reasons in their life related to trauma to push people away. Being kind to people, you never go too far wrong with that. On media, block, ban, or report. One of my frustrations with Yelp as a platform is there is no editorial control, and sometimes people can put out some really bogus things about you. Yelp's response is, we aren't in control of what people offer as their opinion. One of the things, if you have to respond to a troll, is decompress yourself first before responding. I think it's really good to cool off ourselves so we can respond with a calm, measured approach to whatever the troll has to say. Realize that if you have to reply, it's better not to do so with anger. When we get into a scenario where we respond with anger, that's a formula for escalation. Escalation, it basically harms everybody. So if this has been helpful for you, thump that like button and share it with other people. I want to thank you for spending some time with me to consider what to do about the trolls in your life.